Hi everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining me from. We are back again with a day in the life of an entrepreneur, and this time I have a very dear friend, a mentor, a person who is contributing and contributed a lot to the communities, and we've personally learned a lot from him. So, without further ado, let me bring on Anant Shrivastava, who's contributed huge amount of efforts to the null community, OWASP, and many more. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Panda, for inviting me.
Anant, I have been reading about your journey on your website. When I invited you for this podcast, I actually started reading about your journey, and you've described your journey as a notebook, not a playbook. So this actually made me think that what's one messy scribble from your earlier career that ended up becoming your clearest life lesson, where you thought, okay, this is where I want to be, and how did you end up in cybersecurity? Was it something you opted for? Was it something a serendipity, or maybe something else?
Around 2010 is when I was actually relooking at where I am and what do I do next, because that was also the time frame when I kind of hit 2 years time frame in the company. So I wanted to see where the next gig could be, and that's kind of where I was anyways doing server admin work. I was anyways defending systems. So I thought, okay, what is the other side of the equation? What else is there? I didn't want to be a programmer. I didn't want to write code all throughout the day. That's not who I am. So that's where I jumped in and I joined a company where I did a bunch of SOC related activities, log monitoring. Automation was always a backbone. So a lot of automation work I went in that company also. And kind of in that process, I moved and realized, okay, yeah, this sounds interesting, more challenging, more fun. And that's kind of the start of the journey. And then on, since 2010, I have been into the information security industry.
That's amazing to hear, and that's a really long time. In InfoSec, everyone's chasing certificates like Pokemon. You've called them survivability tools. So, what's your spiciest take on certification? Is it worth collecting or just nice work of art?
Right.
So, I
So,
want to hear from you.
spiciest take is CH is worth doing. A lot of people are not going to agree to it. They're going to say, hey, what a load of crap. You should not be suggesting CH. But look at it on a very basic level. What is CEH? CEH is a tool which actually does not teaches you anything, but it gives you visibility into every single keyword that a normal layperson needs to know about information security. And for a lot of job profiles, just knowing that these keywords exist is a good starting point. If you compare it with other certificates, let's say OSCP or the whole OffSec category of certificates or other specialized certificate, they're talking about the niche area. They're giving you context into that specific area. But if you want to get one certificate which gives you, say, the keywords of InfoSec, that's CH is one. I think Security Plus maybe does the job, but no job right now has Security Plus as a requirement. But a lot of jobs have CH as a requirement. That aside, I don't recommend people doing certifications at all. What I suggest people to do is do certifications if they are becoming a barrier for you to get through a job, or do them if your company is paying for them. And this is where my other quib is. If your company requires OSCP, find people who are good at their tech and then pay them to get OSCP. Why are you trying to hunt for OSCP? Just by changing this narrative, you can actually tap into a larger pool. Obviously, your interview process have to be stringent so that you can identify people who are capable of it. But that's where the other thing is. The current wave of doing the interview by asking a standard set of questions and then everyone knowing those questions and repeating the answers does not help. So you need to be able to identify the gems in your, say, interview pool, And then if you've identified a good person, their certifications should not be a barrier for them. If they're not having the certification, you need that certification, pay them, they'll do it. And I've done that a countless number of times where we have asked our employees that, hey, we need to show that we have these many OSCPs, these many CISSPs, and who is interested in becoming one of those? People have raised hands, we have paid them money, they've gone ahead and done the certifications because they were capable people. So instead of certificate fixation, that should be the angle. In terms of from a individual point of view, when you look at something in order to achieve a certificate, the brain operates in a way that it wants to achieve the goal. If the goal is to clear the certificate, you will clear the certificate. If the goal is to learn something, you will learn something. And the simplest example for it is a friend of mine back in 2010 time frame. The organization that I was working on was more into networking. So Cisco certified network architect and network admin (CCNA) certificates were very common at that time. CCNA and then CCNA routing and switching, and then CCNE, CCSE, and then the whole set of Cisco certified certifications. Now, this one friend of mine who had 4 years of experience in networking sat on the exam, and there's another friend of mine who was fresh out of college, sat for the exam. The fresher achieved 100 out of 100. The experienced person achieved about 80, 90, whatever was the passing score. They just achieved a bit more than the passing score. The ground reality was the person who got 100 out of 100 was not able to actually configure any of the switches because they did not knew how the actual thing works. The other person, on the other hand, was able to do all the things in the right manner, but was lazy, was not in a mood to write everything correctly, so they didn't went through and got 100% score. So the certificate scores are not going to tell you what the person is capable of. They're going to tell you what that person thought at that particular point in time and was able to match the answer what you were expecting. And that's about it. Does that
I
gives you the
totally
answer?
agree with you. So personally, I have done CCNA long time ago, because that was something which was very fancy at that time and everyone wanted to do it, especially when you are part of those SOC projects or networking projects. Over the years, from technical aspects, you've taken over an entrepreneur journey, and you've started your own company, and you're doing multiple things with it. And when it comes to the game, sooner or later everyone gets the game. So what's one hack that you used in your corporate or startup life that you want to share it with us? And why did you start your entrepreneur journey, or what actually um, made you feel that yes, now it's the time that I want to start my entrepreneur journey?
Okay. So when it comes to hack, undercommit, overperform. If you're able to do 100 things, claim that you're able to do 70. Even if you finish 80 of them, you have overperformed. And that's kind of what we need to look at. We always overestimate ourselves and we commit based on our overestimation. Instead, undercommit. Don't commit all the things that you can do. Commit part of the things that you can do. And then if you're able to achieve them within the time frame, you have achieved it. If you're able to do more than what you claimed you are going to do, you have overachieved. And that is one trick that has generally helped me overall. When it comes to entrepreneur journey, I think this is not the first time I've tried this. Uh, I come from a background where my father used to have a workshop of his own. It was kind of an entrepreneur gig, to be honest, that he had going on. So I've seen that even before I joined the corporate world. I've seen the ups, I've seen the downs, and 2008 was not the most pretty years when it comes to job opportunities. So that's the year I graduated. I joined the company. Uh, Before Diwali break, we were told that, hey, we may be able to finish your trainings, but we won't be able to absorb you. By December Christmas break, we were told, hey, we will be able to finish your trainings. We will be able to absorb some of you, not every one of you. But by February, you'll all have to go back home, wait for our orders, and then if and when we feel like we need you, we will call you. And so that's 2009 is when I first attempted to do an entrepreneur gig. I think about 2 months of planning went in. A couple of friends were there. All of us wanted to start something, and at that time, cafes were the buzz. Everywhere in the world, you'd find a lot of internet cafes. So we were trying to build some sort of an automation, gatekeeping setup for the cafes. Things didn't work out. Plus, the company offered a position, so I started back with the corporate world. 2014 is when I again attempted another round for about 1.5 year as doing freelance work. So this was better than 2009 because this time I was actually getting work. I was getting enough money on plate, rather to a level where I think I earned double what I used to earn from my corporate job in a single year while doing freelancing. And that kind of ended because one of my biggest client basically said, hey Anant, you anyways spent 20 days a month with us. Why don't I start paying you a fixed fees and save some money at my end, some hassle at my end, and you join us as the first person in the company. And that's kind of how I joined Not So Secure. 2021 is when I decided, okay, I've had enough again, another insect bite, and I was like, okay, let's try again. So this is the third round where I'm trying. First round lasted for 3 months or so. Next lasted for about 1.5 year. It's 2025 right now. Let's see how long this one lasts. The company that I've created, I was reading about it. What do you call this? And the jargon that comes up is there are two types of businesses. There is growth business and there is lifestyle business. What I am building right now is what we call as lifestyle business. Now, a growth business would hire, would accumulate number of people, and the angle would be year over year, we need to grow by X number. We need to acquire more clients. We need to have more work coming in. We need to expand our company. We need to grow beyond borders and have more revenue numbers. How things are. Does that answers your question?
Yes, absolutely. Now, I have some fun questions for you.
No.
Uh, if you had a title for your entrepreneur notebook, like a mixtape, what would be the side A and side B of that mixtape? Because you've been on both the journeys, right? Whether it's corporate life, whether it's your entrepreneurial journey, you have seen both the phases, right? And especially when you talk about this side where you are now, this is your third time thinking about it, and you spend good amount of time with it, right? And I'm sure it'll go for long. So what would be the names for it?
Grass is always greener on the other side.
All right. that that's fair. So what's the landmine you wish more founders knew, and they had warning signs for that you shouldn't do? Completely remove that from your list.
So there are two things that people generally have a problem.
Hmm.
One, people assume that a solution that they have built for their own problem is good enough to get people to pay for it. And that is not how the world works. There is one angle where you're trying to create a solution to a problem. There is another angle where someone else is willing to pay you money to solve their problems. And if you're able to crack these two, that's where the fun begins. And again, not everyone needs to sell things, not everyone needs to build a product. The entrepreneur generally does not necessarily means that it has to be a product. It does not necessarily means that you need to be doing something for a large number of people. entrepreneur journey also does not mean there is altruistic means for everything. You are in it for making money, then you are in it for making money. What is important is there is a view that everyone gets about what the company is, and there is a clarity that the founder has on what am I doing. The You can fool the world. Let me put it this way: you can fool the world, but you should not be fooling yourself. If you're in it for money, if you're in it for growth, then be clear about it. There are ways which may not look good to me, which are perfectly valid ways of growth, but I am at a different junction. You are at a different junction. And that's kind of the reason why I keep saying it. There's no playbook. I can't write a set of steps and say follow these steps and you're done, because there's nothing like that. I keep using this phrase, your mileage will most definitely vary, and I use it for n number of things, for DevSecOps pipelines to your software supply chain equations to your entrepreneur journey. Every single person who's starting that journey, even though I give you the same amount of money to start with, the same facilities, the same location, both of you would have different journeys. And your journey is what is the fun. Now, another pitfall that comes up is assuming technology is the answer. And let me shoehorn more technology into it and I'll get things done is not the right approach. Uh, for people from IT world, they assume if I'm able to program something, if I'm able to create a product, I'm done. And once they get into the entrepreneur world, they realize, oh, so the product that I built was about 5% of the work. The remaining 95% is totally not tech. I need to talk to people. I need to show them value that is there for them, not for me. And the value for the other person is different for every individual. The time spent in trying to convey that, hey, my product can actually do things better than the other person, or rather, if my product is taking 5 minutes, they are giving answer in 2 minutes, both of us are giving similar looking answers, I am actually doing more. Those parts about marketing, sales, finance, talking to VCs for that matter is an entirely different ballgame than writing code. You need to understand what they're looking for and then talk in their language. And that's what people don't realize, that hey, I have built something. So this is how I put it: open source product or created something, put it on GitHub, bunch of people are using it, does not means that you'll be able to directly one is to one map them into paid customers. The expectation of a paid customer are going to be totally different from product standpoint. From services world also, so this is a fun thing about services industry. My personal observation so far has been, if a person is paying a premium, they would expect premium service, but they would be more considerate about whatever you're doing. If the person is paying pennies, they would be more picky about where their penny is going. And it's again a perspective scenario, but I feel there is value in both of them. A person who is penny wise can actually drive you to reach that point where your product is optimized for people. And a person who is paying you a premium and letting you do your job, and then you come up with an answer and they're giving you the confidence and trust to take your answer on the face value, they are probably giving you more responsibility and that drives you in a direction. So whatever works for you, if someone's trust gives you the motivation, or if someone's mistrust gives you the motivation, you pick that and then leverage that to improve your outcome. And that's kind of what I would suggest.
Yeah, I think that's such a wise advice. Now, finally, if someone read your notes or your journey, what will be one advice that you would like to give it to them? Which will help them in their career, in their journeys. And it's not just about but entrepreneurial journey, but your journey into the tech world, into the cybersecurity world.
Right, if you look at it from an overall point of view, I would suggest. So I jokingly said the grass always looks greener on the other side. What I would suggest is there are two things that every individual needs to have a clarity about. One, why you are doing what you're doing. If you're doing it because your friends are doing it, uh, it's okay. That's how you may want to go about. But you should have a clarity that this is why you're doing. Don't fool yourself. The the person looking back from the mirror should be confident in you and your words as you are confident in those yourself. I think that's one crux of all things.
Great. Thank you so much, Anand, for joining me today. And it was wonderful to have you. A lot I've learned. I'm sure everyone will learn a lot from you. Um, we will meet soon again. And thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Vandana, for inviting me.
Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to us. And we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.